Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Amy Schumer did a good job as a host. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm doing a video that I did not plan on doing, but you'll probably understand why in a second if you don't already know. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the Oscars last night. I had pretty much planned on not doing a whole lot for the Oscars besides my own award stuff and then, the predictions last night that I put on my Instagram because I didn't do like a nominees reaction video or anything just because I wasn't really feeling it as much this year, much like 98% of the population. But if you did watch the Oscars, or even if you didn't watch the Oscars, you probably know that there was some stuff that went on last night. So yeah, I wanted to give a lot of my thoughts on it because honestly, there was a lot of good stuff too. But let's talk about the biggest thing that happened, and I'm gonna try not to harp on it for too long because honestly, there was a lot of other stuff that happened that was really great as well. And I don't want to be like a TMZ reporter about this. So for those of you who don't know or just haven't been on social media in the last 12 hours, um, there was a moment where Chris Rock came out and made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith having a shaved head. Um, and Will Smith did not take that very kindly. Obviously, neither did Jada. But Chris Rock kept pushing it, and Will Smith came up and slapped the shit out of Chris Rock. And then basically said, in not so many words, to stop talking about his wife like that. Immediately, everybody was like, Will Smith is unstable. What is he doing? That was insane. My whole family thought it was a bit for like a second. And then, he yelled a bunch of stuff. And we were like, no, this is genuine. Um, I can only give you my perspective on this and what I thought, of what I've seen. But, in case you don't already know, I'm sure you already do, but in case you don't know, here's sort of the context of everything is, Jada Pinkett Smith has alopecia. I didn't know that when all this happened, which means that her hair falls out specifically due to stress. That sucks. So she apparently just said fuck it and shaved her head, went with it, and I might add she pulls it off very well. But then Chris Rock made a joke about GI Jane 2 or something like that, and she did not uh, look very happy about it, obviously. And then Will Smith, realizing what had just happened, came up and did what he did. Apparently, Chris Rock has also gone after them a few times in past Oscars and in other places. So this has been building up for years. And I think what really did it was not just the joke, but then the fact that Chris Rock kept pushing it and saying, "Oh, it wasn't that bad. It's not even that bad of a roast." Thing is like obviously in Hollywood, we're so used to these roasts that we don't even really think about it anymore. That like yeah, people can actually get hurt by that. It's weird if they get hurt by it. It's like, oh, you grow a pair. I don't know. It's weird. So yeah, so that was the context of why Will did what he did. A lot of people are on one side or the other. Honestly, it's I'm sort of in this middle where I think a lot of people are of like, yeah, Will could have handled it differently, but we're also not judging him for what he did, because enough was enough. And then he ended up actually winning Best Actor, which was still really cool because I think everybody was pulling for him. But it became sort of less of is he going to win, and more of a when he wins, he's going to have to do this and this and that. I will say his speech, I think, patched things up a lot because it was very obvious that he understood the gravity of what he just did. He apologized to everybody. He very clearly did not apologize to Chris Rock, and then he kind of sort of defended what he did a little bit in terms of protecting his family and everything. So it could have been handled differently. It could have been handled off screen. Denzel Washington actually came up to him afterward and was like, "All right, you got to be careful now. This is your moment." Um, but yeah, so I think I'm in the camp of where most people are of it wasn't the best, but I think Chris Rock kind of deserved it. Again, not to be assaulted, but the knowledge that he shouldn't have done what he did. He should not have insulted somebody's physical appearance because you never know. Thing is I genuinely believe that he did not know about the alopecia because he seemed very shocked and he kept saying like, "Oh, it was just a GI Jane joke." I don't think he knew. So that's what makes it very hard. But I think that he once Jada had that look of I don't like that. He should have just moved on. He should have just quit there, moved on. Which I think this is one moment in a long debate and discussion of why do we have these awards? What is the purpose? How do we look at celebrities the way that we do? There's a lot of flash and it's all flash. It's a long discussion that is not for this video right now, but I can do another time, with other people talking about why do we have these awards? Like what is even the purpose of awarding ourselves for making movies? Because movies are important, but then it's weird when uh, everybody is making such a big deal out of this thing or that thing, and there's other stuff going on. And again, so it's a whole big discussion. I don't want to keep harping on it. That's for another discussion. But yeah, it was definitely going to be the highlight of the night, which is unfortunate because there was a lot of other stuff that was actually very, very good, and I'll talk about that in just a second. But honestly, I could have used every meme in the book, the Batman Robin meme, whatever. But I just, one, social media has already done that. They've taken every single meme in the last 12 hours that they could possibly do and already applied it to this. But secondly, I just don't feel like it. I just don't think it warrants memes. This isn't funny. Will Smith is still a person. He was hurt, and somebody that he loved was hurt. But it's not really a funny moment. It is about people who were hurt, and that's all it should be. And it should not be like a TMZ story. I hope they don't strip Will of his Oscar. And unfortunately, take away the emotions. It was assault, but Chris Rock's not pressing charges, so I think it's all a big. We know what happened here. Let's move on, and that's good. However, let's not move on, in terms of we got to figure out what's been going on here. We got to figure out stuff that we got to fix here. All right, so I've talked long enough about that. So yeah, besides all of that, this Oscars was really good, which is weird considering I had no faith in this one. I didn't love a lot of the nominees. I hadn't even seen a lot of the nominees. They seemed very random. I did not love the hosts that they picked out. It just seemed like no one gave a shit about this one, especially after last year, and I can understand why. And actually, I think this one did a much better job than we were all expecting. So, number one, yeah, the hosts actually did a great job. Amy Schumer, I don't think she's that funny usually, but Amy Schumer, Regina Hall, Wanda Sykes, all of their bits were pretty much perfectly on point. Everything. Even the ad-libbing for stuff that happened throughout the night, they were very funny. They had some light roasts and stuff like that, but nothing too serious, as we've seen. And yeah, they were great. There's nothing really more to say. I mean, Wanda Sykes is always hilarious, but yeah, I think they did a really, really great job. And they weren't in there too much, but they were in there just enough. It was pretty good. But of course, what we're here for is the awards. And honestly, I think the Oscars, for what they nominated, did a very good job. First of all, Dune is like the Mad Max Fury Road of this year. I mean, holy crap! It won everything that it possibly could have, or just about. It won every single thing in terms of its technical, like the sound, the look, the editing. It won stuff that I didn't even peg it was going to win for. And freaking amazing. I mean, it definitely deserves it. Dune was amazing, technically, visually, audibly, in terms of sound. I mean, I think it was very, very much deserved. Dune was freaking awesome. Also, my boy Kenneth Branagh won for best screenplay. Love that guy. Super excited about that one. I was honestly kind of shocked. I mean, I had it down as my prediction, but I wasn't sure, and he won for best screenplay, which was freaking awesome. Love him. And Billie Eilish won for best song. I think we already kind of knew that was coming. That was the most famous one and all that, but being able to hear her perform it and then see her actually win it, super cool. I love so many of the winners of last night. Specifically, we had, I think, the first female win, I want to say, since Catherine Bigelow. I think that's true. So awesome for Jane Campion. And I think that was the one that was everybody was pulling for anyway, and seemed to be the front runner. We also had the very first deaf person to win an Oscar, Troy Kotsur. Kotsur, I think it's not Kotsur as I've pronounced it before, but Kotsur, which was awesome. I still have to see Coda, and I'm definitely going to now. I meant to, I was definitely aiming to, but I still hadn't gotten to see it because it was on Apple TV, and I don't have Apple TV. But Troy Kotsur winning was awesome, made history, and very well deserved as far as everything I had seen already. And then, of course, Coda won for Best Picture. I think it was definitely between that and Power of the Dog. And the thing is I could see either of them being the winner this year, but it's one of those things that I think later down the road, we're going to look back at, past Oscar winners, and you see Power of the Dog, you're like, okay, yeah, it was a good movie, cool, yeah, it makes sense. You see Coda, and you're like, no, that's yes, that makes a lot more sense. It was a lot more, I don't want to say socially acceptable, but it was a lot more needed. The winners are supposed to reflect not only what was the best, but also I think what was the most important as well. Not to say that things like Shape of Water can't win, because again, it does come down to sometimes movies are just really good movies. They're original and interesting, and it shouldn't always be about what's the most politically driven. But in this case, I think it was really great that Coda won. When we look back on this, we're going to be like, yeah, that was the right choice. In terms of other great things, they brought out the costume designer for Black Panther to help present. And as far as I remember, that's one of the first times I've seen in a long time, if ever, that like a crew member has been able to help present an award, and not just some random celebrity or somebody who's an actor, actress, director. And that's my thing. That's the big thing that a lot of us are like, why are all the people, who were behind the scenes sitting all the way up here, and then you got Tony Hawk in the front. I love Tony Hawk, and all these presenters that they had, Tony Hawk and Shaun White, DJ Khaled, oh yeah, they love movies just as much as all of us. It's about people who love movies. That's great. But, why can't we give a lot more focus to, pardon my language, but the people who made the fucking movie? Like, I don't know. So we still have, I think, a long ways to go on that one. That's, again, another discussion. We have a long way to go still for that because we are still focusing way too much on just a couple of people. And, yeah, actors, directors obviously make the movie. Obviously. But there are so many other people who also deserve to be seen and not played off after 30 seconds. Some of these actors and actresses are getting 3-4 minutes of speech time, and then some people are played off after like 10 seconds, and that's not even an exaggeration. It's kind of ridiculous. And of course, we had the controversy before the second controversy of 8 of the awards were presented beforehand, not live. They were recorded. And, for half a second, when they did the first one, I thought maybe they actually threw them back in live, because they did a really good job of being kind of sneaky about it. But, it was still, you could tell something was a little different. Again, going along with the thing I just said about recognition, that's just bullshit. At least they still had the recording, they had the speeches and everything, so that's good. But still, it's just, come on. I mean, come on. I still ran over a half an hour and all the other stuff. So that was still pretty annoying. The last thing I want to mention is In Memoriam. While it was a little bit better than last year, they still have that, this person's more important than that person type thing going on. While it was better this year, it was kind of odd. They had this sort of weird upbeat thing. The Oscars kind of were like, death's not even that sad. And I get what they were going for. They were going for more of like a hopeful vibe, like a reminiscent, these people were great vibe. But I don't know, there was some parts that I was like, this is a little too fun for the In Memoriam thing. But then, of course, that's not even going to be mentioned anymore about this night. It's all going to be about the other big controversies that happened, and unfortunately that will taint a lot of the Oscars. It will taint a lot of Will Smith and Chris Rock's reputation. It happened, but honestly, I kind of think that we need to take what we have to fix from this and move on. Memes aside, let's just move on. So all in all, I actually think that this Oscars was really good. It's just unfortunately going to go down as another weird oddball one. We've had a lot of those recently. I guess one good thing is that Faye Dunaway and Warren Beatty are kind of off the hot seat now, which is good for them. Yeah, we've had a lot of odd stuff. We had the mix up. We had Adele Dazeem. We had the weird out of order categories last year, and then all this year. So I don't know. Let's take some bets on what we think's gonna happen at the next Oscars. It's gonna be interesting. Hopefully, everyone will just be really calm and peaceful. But I was really happy, honestly, with a lot of the winners. Even if the nominees were sort of weird here and there, I actually think that a lot of the winners were really perfect for what we had last year. So, guys, let me know what you thought. Firstly, of the winners, and of the nominees, and who won. Let me know what you thought of the hosting, the Oscars overall. Obviously, there were still a lot of issues. Some of them were unexpected. Let me know what you thought of everything that happened, in terms of last night with Will Smith and Chris Rock. But again, I don't think it's something to really be laughing about. I think there was just a lot of emotion there. So hopefully we can make a turn next year for the Oscars actually being a genuinely just nice 3 hours. And speaking of award shows, don't forget to check out Thursday night at 7 p.m. the first ever Movie in the Middle Subby Awards. That will be premiering on the channel Thursday night, March 31st at 7 p.m. And as always, keep your hopes high, your stress low, and really low, and movies right in the middle. I'll see you guys later.